got engaged on February 9th, right?
Congratulations.
Don't clap.
Don't see the ring.
Don't clap. In April, my now ex said that he doesn't want to be in a relationship anymore. And I have been trying to make things work between us because, I mean, we planned this whole future together. We picked out the ring together, all this stuff together. How do I move on from this? Because me and this guy spent 3 years together.
Thank God this happened. Thank God that rejection is your protection. That's just not something that we just say. In your moments of suffering, you still got to worship in your moments of suffering, no matter how hard it is. Because when God puts these type of situations, he wants you to draw near. True. He's protecting you from something. He changed that man's heart for a reason. And that was to protect you. And I know it's painful. You in this phase of disenchantment right now to where the dream that you had was, hold on now, honey.
About to get up too. I was about to get up.
Baby was gone. It's grief. That's grief. You gonna come, oh, baby. That's your protection, baby. Even in the moments, I'm talking directly to your heart right now, okay? Because there's been plenty of moments where God has redirected someone's heart to protect me too. And in those moments, I still had to worship him. I had to cry. I had to scream. It's a reason why God is our rampart. It's a reason why he extends his wings. We find shelter in the midst of those storms, baby. And I guarantee you, he's going to give you a peace that's immeasurable. You will not understand it. But I guarantee you that the depths of God's love, the depths of his love, I guarantee you in this moment, because you are craving love right now. You are longing. I think maybe you're the reason why God put Psalm 42 on me. Maybe it could have been you right now. In the moments where you feel like you are longing for something, you longing for God. It's really that's who you longing for. So in the moments where you feel that despair, just like a deer goes to the water, you go to the water too. Okay, so you make sure that you find God in the midst of this, and it is going to be okay. And I guarantee you, if you are called to be a wife, God is going to have a man that's going to blow your mind later on. Okay.
All right, cool beans. So, let me just start by saying this. My heart breaks for that woman. And I pray, I don't know how long ago this was, but I pray that God would restore her. I pray that she finds healing. Man, that hurts. I mean, to think that you were engaged to an individual that you were dating, in a relationship with, for that matter, for 3 years. Guys, I don't know about you, but 3 years is a good amount of time. Especially as you get older, every year seems like it's a long time, and it matters. Time flies by, but just because time flies by doesn't mean there's not a lot compacted in that time that's flying. I've never been in a relationship of 3 years. Longest relationship I've had thus far is 1 year. A lot of things can happen in 3 years, y'all. And I'm just thinking to myself, this woman gave 3 years of her life to building a bond with someone, just for them to go ahead and say, I'm over it. I'm done. Now, I know some people are going to think, well, Marcus, we don't know the full context of the story. And yeah, we don't. We only know but so much from that clip. We don't know what happened behind the scenes. But regardless, we could tell that woman is devastated. I was devastated for her, and I'm not even the one in the relationship. Because in some sense, I can relate, and I'm going to get into that in just a little bit. We're going to have a little story time, if you will. But again, I'm hurting for her, y'all. I'm hurting for her big time. She is heartbroken. And, you know, thank God that Kitty, like, she got up and she was able to minister to her. Because, man, oh man. She was the only one that could have properly did that for that point in time. And, you know, one thing I know about God is he will put certain people in your pathway. She even said her herself, you know, maybe this is why God was laying the book of Psalms in my heart, on my heart. Because maybe that was, you know, God speaks to us through people. And that was what that woman needed at that apparent time to remind her that in spite of the heartbreak she's dealing with, in spite of the grieving that she's going through, everything is going to be all right. And it's hard to see it during that time period. You know what I'm saying? When you just had a breakup. When you have a breakup, essentially your whole world is exposed. Your heart is exposed. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You might be a man and you might not show it, because you know we're told not to show our heartbreak to the people that we care about, which I can agree with that. You know, if somebody breaks up with you, you know, ain't no need to show them anything, because why? You don't need to see Dilly Jack squat. Sorry, but not sorry. I'm not saying don't hurt. Let me make that perfectly clear. Please embrace your emotions. But what I am saying is, don't show it to your past significant other. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You cry in front of your family members, in front of your friends. Cry to your therapist. Do not cry to your significant other. I know it's hard. But you got to keep it moving. Especially if you're a man. But I say it for both men and women. But that's besides the point. The point that I'm making here is this. Your world gets rocked. So what do you do in that situation? Because Kitty made some very good points. Rejection at times is God's redirection. So you got to look at it from a standpoint of, hey, for whatever reason, this ain't work, but I still have another opportunity to move forward. And it might take me some time, because again, 3 years ain't no short period of time, right? These days, the mindset that I have, and I'm gonna just keep it completely real with you, is if I'm dating you within a year, in a relationship, I should say, we're in a relationship for a year, I'm probably proposing to you shortly after. Because the mindset I have is this. And granted, everybody's different. This is no judging for anybody. But as the recording of this video, I'm 34 years old. I'm not rushing into anything. I'm not putting pressure on anyone when it comes to dating. But if we're in an actual relationship and we're getting to know each other for a year, to me, that's more than enough time for me to know if I want you to be my wife. So you multiply that time times 3. That is for sure enough time. And yes, people change their minds. And yes, you could look at it from a standpoint of, well, Marcus, you know, at least he told her before they got married. Yeah, absolutely. I am 100% on board with you if that is your way of thinking. I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely. However, junk still hurts, y'all. Still hurts. So a little bit of a story time. You know the story time is coming, right? Yeah, you know I had to tell you a story. So my last relationship, and I can talk about this now because it's been a little bit of time, so I'm good at this point now. My last relationship looked very promising. It looked like the most promising relationship yet. It seemed like things were going extremely well. Things were moving a bit fast, I'm not gonna lie. But it seemed like things were naturally falling into place. However, before I get to however, let me get to this point. We were talking about a lot of things. We were talking about marriage. I was planning on proposing to this individual at some point early next year. And we were talking about how it worked, how children work. She was a little bit older than me. Like I said, I'm 34, she was 41. So we talked about, you know, hey, if the kids thing happened, you're getting older, so I know it has to happen sooner than later. And it was sooner than I was probably a little ready for if we were to venture into that part when the time came, because we weren't having children until marriage. But in my mind, I had mentally prepared for that. Okay, so my life is going to change a little bit faster than I thought. You know, because when men realize these things, we adjust quickly. We're like, all right, let me, you know, I was thinking about picking up an extra job. So that way, because, you know, my whole thing was I had some things I needed to take care of financially. And I said, I told her straight up, I want to marry you. But let me take care of these things financially first before we jump into that. Plus, we had only been dating for a couple months, so there was no need for any rush. But we both knew what we wanted. We were both up front. We both had the tough conversations ahead of time, so on and so forth. Well, she felt the same way. She felt like, you know, I feel like you're my husband, this and that, so on and so forth. So everything was in alignment, right? And I felt like I had confirmation, or at least so I thought. Well, fast forward, this individual goes on a fast. Moving forward from there, the next time we have a conversation, essentially she breaks up with me. But before she breaks up with me, let me tell the whole story. So she says that she doesn't want kids. Now, for me, that was a strike in my face. No offense to her at all, let me just make that clear. But because my non-negotiable is I want kids. I can't be in a relationship with a woman that does not want kids. Because I want at least one. But I also respect people who don't want kids, because it's like, yo, that's a big statement. If you don't want kids, I'm pretty sure you have your reasons why. So I'm not going to go into details about it. That's personal. But I will say, you know, continue to have a conversation. And she said that this wasn't the right season for us. And I was like, are you breaking up with me? And she was like, essentially, I can't do this right now. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, what can you say to that? I'm not going to beg for you. I'm not going to ask why, this and that. So come to find out a week later when she reached out, she said that she broke up with me because God told her to. Now, I know some of y'all probably thinking right now, what, Marcus? That don't make no sense. Listen, who am I? Who are we to say what God chooses to do and what he doesn't? He has a reason for everything. He could have been protecting me from something. He could have been protecting her from something. He could have been protecting us from something. Who knows? I don't know. I was bothered, though, because it was like, wasn't this something that you could have told me during our conversation? She said, well, your pride wouldn't have handled. I was like, my pride? What are you talking about? That's still information that you disclose. You feel me? If I take it the wrong way, guess who that falls on? Me, not you. But nonetheless, I bring all that up to say, I was heartbroken, yo. I thought this person was it. I thought this person was truly it. And mind you, this was not an unfamiliar individual. This was somebody that I had history with to a degree. 7 years ago. And we had tried again. You know, both of us had grew, both of us matured. Or so I thought. Enough to be ready. And this person just was like, nope, it's not it. And apparently it's because God told her. God ain't tell me diddly squat. But it hurt. Like I said, I'm good now, but at the time being, that junk did hurt. So it's kind of like, what do you do in those situations, man? Well, for one, you have to grieve. There's nothing worse than a relationship that you were truly prepared to go with on the next level. And also, I want to put this, and this is not to take anything away from that woman or women in general, but I just want to put this out here. When the shoe is on the other foot, even though men may not show it, ladies, I'm going to go ahead and say it. It hurts a lot more. And I'm going to explain my reasoning. You might agree or disagree. That's perfectly fine. The reason why I feel like it hurts men a lot more is because you guys essentially dream about marriage. That is kind of instilled into you from the time that you're a little girl. Married, house, family, things of that sort, right? And I think it's a beautiful thing when it's with the right person. It is indeed. It absolutely is indeed. But men, we don't really think about that as much as you guys do. And I've said it on this channel before. So when we lock in and we're like, yo, this is a woman we want to spend the rest of our lives with, we know what we're signing up for. Or at least we have an idea. I was at a men's gathering at my church a couple of Sundays ago, as the recording of this video, that is. By the time this video comes out, it was more so 2 months. And one of the men who's been married for 30 years, Mr. Allen, shout out to him. He said, as a man, when you get married, essentially you have to be ready to go last in everything when it comes to your family. Meaning your wife comes first. If you got kids, they come first. All of them come before you because your main job is protector and provider, and to set the example in the household of how it should be ran, and also how you carry yourselves within the church, how you carry yourselves outside the church, how you carry yourselves or how you present yourself to different people, and so on and so forth. You are the epitome of that. And he said most men fail because essentially a man in a marriage is playing the role of how Christ is in our lives. There's often the saying that Christ will, I'm not sure if this is biblical or not, I'm gonna look it up and see, but Christ is coming back for his bride. Who is his bride often referred as? The church. What is a husband's responsibility? Protection, provision, leadership, right? Unconditionally. That means if your wife acting crazy one day, y'all two getting into it, or maybe she's not acting crazy, y'all two just having a bad day with each other, you still got to be a husband. And that's not to take anything from the wife, so let me make that clear, because I know some people thinking, well, wives still got to be wives. Yes, they do, but I'm talking about us right now. I'm talking about us, right? We ain't talking about women right now. We're talking about fellas at the moment. But when I got that information, that made me realize even more why with something like that, it hurts. It hurts men a lot. And again, it hurts both sides. Because both individuals made an investment. Regardless of how you choose to look at it from the man's perspective or the woman's perspective, both made the investment. So that junk sucks. Also, you really got to grieve, man. Like, breakups in general hurts. But especially when it's a breakup that looked like you were going to spend the rest of your life with that person. They done met your family. Y'all done made plans together. Y'all probably will start to look at venues if you're getting to that point. Right? Y'all talked about how many children y'all want, if y'all want children. Where you would possibly live. If you guys are in the same city, do you want to stay there? If you're in two different locations, are you going to move to her city? Is she going to move to your city? It's a lot, man. You have all these dreams. You just imagine yourself building with this person. Kids, the White House, the picket fence. You know? Building together. Because when I imagine marrying the woman that God has for me one day, I imagine it from a standpoint of we are building an empire. The bad choices and mistakes that we made, our future kids will not make those choices and mistakes. You want to know why? Because they will have individuals that follow God, that are guided by God, guide them And that's not to say that they won't make their own bad choices and mistakes, but that is to say that they'll be a lot better off than we were in the long run. I think about the times that I want to spend with whoever my future wife is. The vacations, the late nights, the conversations on the phone, the bonding, the praying together, the worship together. Because I'm going to keep it real. At this point, I've gotten to the point in my life where not only am I like, God, if it ain't it, let it go. But before I pursue any other woman, I am asking God, hey, Lord, should I do it? And I know some people say it's counterintuitive, but I say that because sometimes we pursue people that we shouldn't be pursuing. And that's a whole nother conversation. That's not the topic of this video. But I'm saying all that to say that these are the many reasons why when you have a breakup with someone you thought was it hurts. Again, breakups hurt in general. But when it's with someone that was like, oh, I thought you was my husband. I thought you were my wife. It hurts even more. Because you don't think that, especially like when everything's going good, you just don't think to yourself that this could be it. You don't think to yourself, it's boys to men, the end of the road. And my thoughts and prayers go out to anyone who has ever experienced this. Because again, that job sucks, y'all. But just like with all things in life, you will get through it. I promise. I promise you will. Fellas, you'll get through it. Ladies, you'll get through it. And when you get through it, I hope and I pray from the bottom of my heart that you find that individual that will stick with you for life. And if it was over with that person, after you've gone through your grieving process, after you've gone through your process of healing and so on and so forth, don't question things. I no longer question why God ended my last relationship, even though it looks the most promising yet. Because as soon as I got out the relationship, a couple weeks later, I started realizing things. And one of the things that I realized was, I'm trying to figure out how I can word this. I'm not trying to come off cocky when I say this. God help me say the right words. God has someone out there. I'm gonna just put it to you like that. That's the best way that I can put it. Because I'm not about to toot my own horn at like I'm all that and nothing. God has a plan. I don't know what that plan looks like. I don't know what that plan entails or who it entails, but he has a plan. What's that song? God's got a blessing with my name on it. As cliche as that sounds, it's true. And that goes for everybody who's watching this video that might not be there yet to the point where they found their person, or they thought they found their person, like myself, and things didn't work out, like this, woman in the video. It will all work out. It will all work out. Okay, I'm done. All right, we're going to end the video right here. Well, actually, before we end the video, let me talk about a couple of points. First of all, I really thank you guys for joining me, especially if you made it this far. You are amazing. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Every now and again, at least one Saturday, at least every Saturday of the month, once a week, we do these long conversations where we talk about more detailed stuff. I'm not trying to make my traditional Teachable Tuesdays super duper long, but I hit you off with a little something where we can have a little bit of dialogue. I think at some point I will go live with these videos, but I'm gonna wait till the channel grows a bit more before we start that process. At any rate, so the episodes as of the recording of this video are still going strong. I told you guys before before you started watching it that I had some things I need to take care of. Those things are not quite taken care of just yet. But even with that being said, we're still in a good spot, at least as of right now, and we're going to continue. If I have to go on a hiatus, I will. But what I am attempting to do at this time is record the information kind of on the front end, if you will. So that way, in case something does happen, I have videos that are lined up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm actually recording this video in October. Actually, October 2nd to be specific. So when you see this video, it'll be November 1st. So, as I tell you guys all the time, I record these videos way in advance. So that way, if something does happen, I can have content lined up. Like if I get sick or something, or if I get drained or burnt out. Because I'm going to keep it real. The school year has been a doozy. For those who don't know, I'm a teacher. School year's definitely been a doozy. For certain. I can say that without the shadow of a doubt. And it's been tiring. And actually, by the time you guys see this video, I'm going to be ready to go on vacation. And I'm very, very excited. I am ecstatic. Oh my gosh, like y'all have no idea. So, in a couple weeks, you can expect a long car ride Chronicles in California. I'm actually going to create a couple of videos while I'm in California, so you'll see it over the course of maybe 2 or 3 weeks of me driving around and whatnot, and hopefully I can show you the California views while I'm driving and having a conversation with y'all, so you can see just how beautiful that state is, and one of the reasons why I want to move out there at some point. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we gonna keep it going. Of course, I'm gonna keep you guys updated. I do have something special for episode 50 in mind, because we're on episode 43, y'all. We're like 7 episodes away. So, who knows? Maybe episode 70 will be the California episode. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. Still a couple things I'm thinking about. But nonetheless, I appreciate you guys. As always, Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. I love you guys. Hope you have an amazing day. And also, one more thing I want to point out. Thank you guys for those of you who have supported the Tech and Tag Tournament Bowl Season 2. It was an awesome time. I am looking into improving the quality for the future, because I do want to do more video game streaming on this channel just for the heck of it. Again, this channel is going to be mostly motivational, but every once in a while I try to branch out and do some different things, do some fun things, and so on and so forth. And I've gotten some feedback from some of you guys, so thank you. I really appreciate it. And yeah, we're going to keep it pushing. So until next time, peace out.